Hey guys, welcome back to Sodi Pop on YouTube. My name is Matt, and this is Chat with Matt, your source for the daily gaming news. Now, we have a lot to discuss today, lots of Paper Mario. We're going to discuss the gameplay of Paper Mario. We also have the PlayStation 5, tons of news with that. Doom Eternal, lots of things going on in the gaming world, as there always are. I, of course, have my Animal Crossing mug, and I'm ready for this. All right, let's discuss. So, we're going to start with one of my favorite things ever, Avatar: The Last Airbender, formerly a Nickelodeon series, is now on Netflix in the USA. It was on Netflix previously. Elsewhere, this is one of my favorite series ever created. So please go ahead, do yourself a favor, and check this bad boy out. Moving on from there, Turtle Beach. So they announced they see a huge boost in headset demand as gamers play during the pandemic. I wanted to call this out as a bit of good news for the actual gaming space. So again, I have been hinting at PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X could actually do record amazing sales, unlike many analysts are probably thinking, and I've heard a lot of other game critics say as well. I think it is possible, of course not guaranteed, that they could sell super well, of course depending on price. And then what is it actually giving the consumer? I think the backwards compatibility is awesome. Xbox Series X, of course, has their own compatibility, and the PS5 has yet to announce their exact way they're doing compatibility, but they are having backwards compatibility, which is super, super important. Moving on, we have a couple of game announcements. So Maneater official launch trailer. I thought this looked super fun and interesting. It actually reminded me of a game on iOS that I believe Ubisoft developed. So this is a 3D version of it. You're going from person to person. Just looks like super fun. You're getting points. You're developing as a shark. And it actually looks like a lot of fun. So go ahead and check this out. Maneater is launched. I'm curious as to how that's going to score for different games here. Let's make sure we pause that before we move on. All right. Oh, man. It's always so embarrassing when this happens. But while we're here, thank you. I hope you please subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, of course, like, comment, and subscribe. You can click the bell down below for new video alerts, and I will be bringing you fresh content all the time, every weekday, right here on Sodi Pop on YouTube. All right, let's move on. So we are straight into Paper Mario. Now we are seeing some gameplay, it looks like, from the Japanese trailer. It is Paper Mario here actually went to kind of this 3D circular type of, here we go. Want to make sure I play it for you. Went to this circular type of battle system where you can see he's choosing the different lanes. He can move it. Looks like it's being timed in the top right hand corner there. He has a combo. He's choosing what boots to use or what weapon he wants to use, and boom, he's hitting them 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is what we have seen so far, and it actually showed a little bit of that in the American trailer if you watch that. Moving on, this looks like the German trailer. So again, we see the same kind of roundup. There are the seats all around. You see all the toads. Obviously, it's a different area. Now, in the American trailer, we saw Mario going around in a little cart with kind of the background here looks like kind of sand dunes maybe, and the Boo's sand dunes at night, and the Boo's all around him. So if you notice, the Boo's, he lines them up on the circle, but the Boo's behind him are actually looking at him, and the Boo's in front of him, just as Mario tradition. If you look at a Boo, they stop, they're too scared, and then if you have your back to the Boo, they're moving towards you. So it looks like a super interesting battle system, one that might be really in depth, almost like a, I don't want to say match 3, but kind of like a match 3 puzzler where you have to line up different types of combos. And in particular with these Boos, you have some in front and some behind, and maybe the way you hit them, and the thing is, the ones behind are going to be moving towards them or maybe hitting them. So the way you handle that is really going to depend on your actual success in this. And it looks like you're getting coins and points. And that leads into my next point here. From Reddit, we have in Paper Mario that the actual HP is not tied to your story progression. And they point out in 2 trailers that use the exact same battle, so this Boo battle, that in one trailer they had 120 HP, and in the next trailer they had 125 HP, saying that this game, this Paper Mario RPG, could be a little bit more granular and upgradable to actual Mario character. And you of course have different partner characters that they showed. They showed a bomb. They showed a lot of other different characters that you can partner with. I think even Bowser Jr. is. They showed one of him. So looks really amazing, and it's crazy because we're gaining a lot of info from these different trailers. So again, you see the Boos there. I showed you the Boos previously, and how some were behind, some are in front of them. So really, really interesting, super cool. Moving on, we have a little bit of sad news. Doom. So Doom Eternal, really fantastic first-person shooter, has actually launched a anti-cheat mode called De Novo right here. And what it does is they launched the update. So if you already updated Doom, it's kind of too late. They install this anti-cheat, which goes into the kernel mode on your computer, so it's a really low level, and it has access to a lot of things, and it's messing up a lot of people's systems. So this is TechSpot saying this. There's a lot of news on this. It got review bombed. Users are super angry. If you're running it on Linux, it essentially breaks the game. This is a Reddit user that stated, "I am not playing Doom until they fix this," and I've seen a lot of people state that as well. So I want to go over the currently reported issues, because that is important here if you are looking into playing Doom. How is this going to affect you? So stop errors, so blue screen of deaths, performance degradation, reduced frame rate, stuttering, excessive load times. I'm going to say this also right now only affects the PC version of the game, so keep that in mind. The inability to launch game on Windows. Driver continues to run even after it's uninstalled, quote unquote. Driver reinstalling itself without the game being ran, and game no longer works on Linux. So those are some pretty big things. It's an anti-cheat. This is a pretty heavy anti-cheat. They have had things like this before, but this seems pretty horrible. Bethesda, I hope you are able to fix this. This absolutely sucks, to be honest. All right. Upcoming here, we have some amazing PlayStation news. So we're going to start with the controller for the PS5. So this is, again, the DualSense controller. I thought this was awesome. We have a fan-made trailer. I'm just going to go ahead and play it. You guys can check it out. It looks beautiful. Let's see here. Oh, this looks so good. Now, the one thing I'm going to point out here is that you have the PlayStation buttons glowing the different colors. That's not going to happen. This is unofficial again. This is fan-made. The PlayStation buttons are going to look like they're going to be more similar to that of like the white PS Vita, which I have somewhere. The white PS Vita, which had these crystal clear buttons, looks really nice as far as the button layout is concerned. I really doubt they will use the colors as a backlight. They could. Nothing is definite, but looks really awesome there. So, as I'm leading into showing the actual controller, I wanted to jump to a couple other things. So, we'll get there. So, the controller. Now, I wanted to jump to this podcast done by Alana Pierce of IGN on the latest episode of Play, Watch, Listen here. She is interviewing Mike Bithell and Austin Wintry, which are 2 game developers. So they are discussing right now the actual PlayStation 5 gameplay reveal when the Unreal Engine 5 was announced. Again, it was playing directly on a PlayStation 5. It was an actual demo. It wasn't just, oh, here's it just running. So it gave realistic expectations for what games can do and look like, and more importantly, what developers can do with games and kind of the limitations they can get rid of. And one of them was sound. Now, almost unexpectedly, Mike Bithell kind of revealed that he had his hands on a PlayStation 5 dev kit here. The PlayStation 5 dev kit, of course, you get to use the controller. The controller is like so interesting. I remember thinking about Joy-Con. The Joy-Con was like such a mystery to people for so long that any little news about how it felt, or like especially the rumble in it, what was going on with that. Now, this is very similar a feeling to me. I'm super pumped. I'm starved for the PlayStation 5 information, especially even anything to do with the controller. The rumble sounds pretty insane. If you remember, previous reports with the controller is that the triggers actually had tension built in. So the R2 and L2 triggers could actually, the programmer or developer could use the tension to simulate like a bowstring. So as you get further down in the actual actuation of the button, it gets harder to press or easier to press. And so that led into the rumble, and the rumble, you can really feel the difference between like a dirt road or a slick and sleek road, like on ice or something, or maybe you're on a dirt road and there's black ice and you spin out, and you can feel that in the rumble of the controller very fine. Now, there's a lot of promises with the Joy-Con and how the rumble felt. It does feel nice, but it's not anything after playing with it for so many years. It's like, it's there. It's a rumble. So I'm curious how this is going to feel. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. We're going to talk about it. So let's get right back to it.
As well.
Just gonna go ahead and let it play.
We'll see. I look forward to trying to break it.
I'm just doing the thing where I Google something to find out if it's been announced yet. Bear with me.
Let me tell you, working at IGN, I have it less now because I'm doing a lot less news-focused things. But I'd often be like, "Shit, is that NDA'd? Or am I allowed? Do people know this? Am I allowed to say that?"
All I'm saying, Austin, is you're gonna love what they're doing with the controller on PS5 as well, with the DualSense stuff.
There you go.
Haptic. Yeah, the raindrops thing. I've had some demos. They're very good. That's gonna be some Austin. You're gonna have some fun in games with that, I think.
Yeah, that sounds to me like, I think mostly under NDA.
Mostly under.
So, all right. So Austin Wintory and Mike Bithell going back and forth there. Mike Bithell saying, Austin, I think you're going to be pretty pumped about what they're doing with this DualSense controller, because they're talking about individual raindrops going all over the place. Now, the rumor is, what I saw is that you can feel the individual raindrops with the controller, which sounds nuts. Again, is that important? Will we go past the first few months and everyone just forgets about how that actually feels? Probably. I mean, that's most likely going to happen, but I just thought that was so amazing. Such a cool possibility. I hope it is a game changer, as I'm sure most of you do. All right, let's jump right back into it with a nice little rumor here. So we have a YouTuber saying, just got a leak from an upcoming unannounced, highly anticipated PS5 game. Holy shiz. I'd share it, but apparently it would instantly get my source fired. Understandable. Point is, June, be ready. June. So June, we're going to see a lot of stuff. I'm going to go to that later with the PS5. Now, he does say later, people are confused. Yes, the image is stock from Hootsuite. It's thematically related, though. A lot of things I saw were ice, big iceberg, Fortress of Solitude. Is this going to be, we're following up on the Spider-Man game. Is this going to be a Superman game? Finally, a good Superman game. I think everyone, or a lot of people, refer to the Superman 64 game, which was tremendously awful. But I don't know. Who knows? This is, again, leak, quote unquote. It's a tease. That's what it is. And how accurate it is, I don't know. But let's get hyped. Get hyped for the PlayStation 5. All right. Venture Beat. So this is Jeff Grubb, who seems to know some really great insiders. He's over at Venture Beat. He had some really good announcements that I covered last week. He spoke about Nintendo. Nintendo is not having any Nintendo Directs coming up, and they are just dropping trailers, as we saw with the Mario, Paper Mario Origami King, and then we will maybe be seeing coming up with more and more Mario games, as was hinted out throughout the rest of 2020. So he says, Sony and PlayStation 5. He just released this article not like an hour ago, so really awesome, hot off the presses. Between the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, we seem to know just a touch less about the former. SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, hasn't shown off the console itself. We haven't seen any games. Nope. But that should start to change in the coming weeks. Sony has a couple of events in the works, and these should provide a closer look at the next generation. First is Sony event early in June. The company was originally planning for this June 4th, but is moving around. The exact date is more nebulous now. That doesn't mean it's slipping by in a matter of weeks though. Early June timeframe is still the company's current plan. So that's big. Early June coming up. We will have to wait, 3-4 more weeks. We'll see. What you should expect from early June event. Sony was putting together a roster of next-gen games, not just first-party. The shifting date, however, may cause some complications in that regard, and I do not know if this is when Sony will finally show the physical console itself. It's possible, but I cannot confirm that. I do anticipate that Sony will have shown the PlayStation 5 off in detail by the start of the following event. The company is putting together one of its State of Play videos presentation in early August. This will highlight the combination of current and next-gen games. Through August, you shall expect Sony to communicate using its blog and social channels as well. So, we are getting a big hint as to when Sony is coming out with its big guns, when it's going to show off stuff early June. Expect that. Now, what can we expect from that early June event? Well, Jeff Grubb clarifies more on his Twitter. Again, remember, it has changed a bunch. So, Jeff Grubb, I wrote about Summer Game Mess and updated the calendar. June 4th, PS5 event is moving, probably to F me, but it's a matter of days, not weeks. Xboxing Day is still the same week. These things change. So, he has his little updated roster of what's going on. He also said, with regards to me characterizing the early June PlayStation 5 thing as hefty next-gen event and with a lot of games, I still think it should be significant, but it might not be quite as hefty as it was before. So someone asked him to clarify this. Interesting. Some devs, pubs decided to announce their own terms, I take it, and Jeff said right. So developers and publishers are saying, hey, this is kind of a free-for-all. We're just going to announce it in the way that we want to announce it, since there's no longer a central E3 or a central event that everyone is going to. We're just going to choose a date and time of our own, and we'll do it ourselves, and maybe pulling out of what the PlayStation 5 was going to have. So the PlayStation 5 is moving around. Might not be as big, but it's supposed to be big and jam-packed full of information. And yeah, I will be covering that here for sure. And we're going to finish off. This is somewhat new news. This was on the 15th, I believe. But there's been a lot of confusion, or I would say he said, she said, as far as SSDs and PlayStation 5. So the PlayStation 5, again, it does have this crazy fast solid-state drive, and it will be unique to the PlayStation 5 as far as the speed. The PlayStation 5 built its architecture around speed and eliminating bottlenecks. A lot of PC enthusiasts have come out and said, oh, PC has this speed already with, these different variants of the PCIe 4.0 port on the motherboard. Yes, well, that is true, theoretically. So Sweeney, or Tim Sweeney, I believe, who is the president over at Epic, that is creating Unreal Engine 5 that ran on the PS5, which is the first kind of gameplay that we saw, clarified a lot of this, and it just again makes me more excited for next generation and next generation PC architecture as well. So let's go ahead and touch right into this. He has a really important look at what is coming. So system integration and the whole system performance, bringing in data from high bandwidth storage into video memory in its native format with hardware decompression is very efficient. The software and hardware stack to go to great lengths to minimize latency and maximize the bandwidth that is actually accessible by games. Those PC numbers are theoretical and are from drive to kernel memory. From there, it's a slow and circuitous journey through software decompression to GPU drivers swizzling into video memory where you can eventually use it. The PS5 path is several times more efficient, and then there's latency. On PC, there's a lot of layering and overhead. Then you have the issue of getting compressed textures into video memory, requires reading into RAM, software decompressing, then calling into a GPU driver to transfer and swizzle them with numerous kernel transitions throughout. Intel's work on non-volatile NVDIMMs, or DIMMs, is very exciting and may get PC data transfer on a better track over the coming years. So he doesn't leave out the PC side, but he is stating that yes, the PS5 is functionally different in the way it's approaching this. They do say later on, Xbox Series X has its own actual architecture to help with this as well, the actual communication aspect. But don't expect that to be the end-all be-all, because of course what happens in one world will happen in another. PC will, if not it already is, developing all this stuff, and I think at the end of the day, they're going to be able to get a wonderful game playing machine, whether it's the Xbox or the PlayStation, for a very reasonable price, especially when you compare it to some of the very high-end graphics cards. And I think the most important point, which I have made before, is that these games, or these game playing machines, they're going to be ubiquitous. They are everywhere. The end user will have them. That means the developer can count on millions of people having them, and they can develop for that system specifically. And again, that is one of the most exciting things about the PlayStation 5 games that are unique to the system. God of War, 2, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, is that those will be developed specifically with the PlayStation 5 specs in mind and take full advantage of what is going on. No longer will your PC games be hindered by Xbox or PlayStation being less than, so they can really gear it towards these high-end specs, these wonderful SSDs, and then scale down from there. I'm so excited. There's so much going on. Again, this will be the end of it. Thank you so much for watching. Lots and lots of PlayStation 5 news. Paper Mario looks fantastic. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Again, my name is Matt. I'm on the 3Ts and IG, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. Of course, Sodi Pop Media on all of those. I'm on 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch, streaming Rocket League. And then, of course, right here on YouTube every single weekday with the gaming news. And we have so much more happening as well. I'm constantly making this stream and this setup as better and efficient as possible. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Remember, have a wonderful day. Be yourself and eat a cookie. Bye.